Hi guys, and welcome to a new video on Sonal's life from your resident obsessed New Japan fan. Now last week I did a video on the factions of New Japan, but this week we're back to the usual reviewing because New Japan on the 5th of November had their Battle Autumn finale show. So we've had a good amount of pre-warm-up shows with some really good matches. We had the start of the New Japan World TV Championship, and this show was phenomenal. A proper New Japan show. We had 9 matches. I think it went about nearly 4 hours with some amazing matches. So obviously, I'm here with a review, and I'm going to try not to blabber about everything because, like I said, 9 matches. I don't want to be talking to you for like 20 minutes. So we'll just get started, and obviously the important matches I'll look over in more detail. The beginning ones, maybe not so much. Oddly enough, we started, and this is like my grievance with New Japan on their sort of, how do I say it, their love of the junior division themselves. The entire show started off with the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Champions. It's a title match. Shouldn't it be at the end? This is the problem we've always had with these tag championships. New Japan never places much prestige on them and has them as the opening. However, this time it actually worked. So we had the champions of the Empires, TJP and Francesco Akira, versus Bushi and Titan, so the LIJ duo. As expected, it was a very fast-paced match, a true showcase of the junior division. You have so many different characters and so much expertise in here. So Francesco Akira, very young but very talented. TJP, a veteran. Bushi and Titan, similarly, years in wrestling. And between them, there was some really nice different offenses of wrestling that you could see. So TJP is much more ground-based than some of the other guys, so bringing out things like the Muta lock. Akira has really channeled his energy. So similarly, when I say with Wato in the past, he can sometimes seem a bit out of control, probably just how young he is. He really managed to control it in. Similarly with LIJ, so Bushi and Titan, I think there was 1 or 2 little missteps, but considering how they've not teamed for that long, really well. I'm actually really happy that in the end, the Empire got the win. Very cleanly as well, after everything that's been going on with the masks and stuff. It is the right thing to do, ahead of Super Junior Tag League and Wrestle Kingdom. The Junior Championships have never been very consistent, the tag ones, and I feel like we need some consistency. And the veteran status of TJP and the youthfulness of Akira works really well, and their tandem offense, I was really impressed. They haven't been teaming for that long, but they know what each other is thinking. The next match was definitely a heavyweight game. So we had a traditional 8-man tag after the junior bout, and it was Tanahashi, Yano, Alex Zane and David Finlay against the Empires, Hanare, Kyle Fletcher and Doug Zilla of Aussie Open, and Gideon Gray. Except obviously Gideon Gray, but you know it's that. I'm not going to touch upon this match much. It was really nice actually, like a nice break, a proper traditional opening match. We had some amazing offense going through. Shockingly, I thought Gideon Gray was going to get the loss because, you know, he's like the scapegoat for the Empire. Oddly enough, Kyle Fletcher got the win over the Toru Yano. And I'm really happy for that because it shows that, you know what, as well as being good tag wrestlers, Aussie Open are very strong on their own. And I love Kyle Fletcher, so it was a great win for them. Really good momentum because obviously you had the first match, the Empire retained, and then this one. After the rocky start for the Empire, it seems like things are getting better and more consistent. And then, like I said, I'm looking down because I can't actually remember. It was a very long show. From the very good to the... So obviously we all know the story of Hikuleo with this Never title. Carl Anderson is in Saudi Arabia at the moment with WWE, so he didn't have his match. But Hikuleo didn't want him to relinquish because he wanted to fight him and beat him. So Yujiro was randomly like, hey, you betrayed us, you fight me. So then that's what happened, and I think, I put this on social media, follow me at wrestling_chat. I was brushing my teeth because it was really early in the morning. I literally went to put toothpaste on, and next thing, Hikuleo had won. Again, it's the right thing to do because if you're going to have Yujiro even stand up against Hikuleo, you're totally sort of getting rid of this monster and sort of quite intimidating persona that they want for Hikuleo as being 6'9". So yeah, hopefully it isn't long before he gets his Never match and hopefully he wins it. Didn't really need this match, but it was nice to see Hikuleo on the card, which it always is. And then we got up to the main portion of the show. We had some huge title matches, some huge matches with title implications. And we started off with the New Japan World TV Championship semi-finals. 2 semi-final matches were very different. So basically, for a bit of background, there was 2 matches, so Sanada versus Narita, Evil versus Zack. Whoever won those matches, they are going to challenge for the title at Wrestle Kingdom. Okay, so we started with Ren Narita versus Sanada. Once again, this came down to the wire. I think there was like 30 seconds to go, because remember, all of these matches have a 15-minute time limit. These two are very similar. So they are both smaller in stature. Again, I don't know if Narita is going to be in the junior division or not, but they're both quite slim, but they also really are quite mat-based. So we know that Narita obviously is, because trained by Shibata, he makes use of the holds, kicks. He has a lot of strength for someone his size. Similarly with Sanada, although he is sometimes very flashy, you know, like he's got his skull end hold, he does also use quite, not basic, but quite traditional mat-based wrestling in some of this. We've seen it with guys like Zack Sabre Jr. And this was no different. It was really nice. I like at the start, sort of like about a few minutes in, and Sanada managed to get Narita into a paradise lock in the ropes and was almost taunting him, like, hey, you think you can beat me? You're just literally come back from your excursion. I've been wrestling for like a decade. That worked very badly. So Narita seemed to get this like new sense of adrenaline and really managed to put it to like Sanada, who you know is one of my favorites. And that meant, like, as much as like I love Sanada, when Narita actually got the win, and I think it was called the Narita Special 4, very, very beautiful finisher, I was like, oh, my Narita's growing up. I met him first time in 2019 at the first Royal Quest, and to see him now with a spot secured at Wrestle Kingdom, I couldn't be prouder. And then from, obviously, Technical Masterpiece, we then had the second semi-final match for the championship, and that was Evil versus Zack. We all know their relationship, you know, the pumpkin spice latte. Zack doesn't like Evil. And you know what? The start was really actually quite funny. So Evil and Dick Togo brought someone out. I think it was Fujita. And remember the last time when they did it and Zack dressed Fujita up as Zack to distract him? So that happened, but I think they were aware of this. Then someone else came out with I am also Zack Sabre Jr. So I think it would have said like Watashi mo Zack Sabre Jr. this, I think. And then he came out and that turned out to be Oiwa. And then suddenly Zack came in and attacked from like inside the ring. So basically rather than one fake Zack, there were 2 fake Zacks, which meant there were 3 Zacks in the ring. And this seemed to anger Evil, obviously, and he was trying all the shenanigans. Outside, luckily, I don't think Abe got hurt this time, Evil did. But Zack managed to gain control for pretty much all of it. There was one funny moment where I think Dick Togo was trying to get Zack's leg, but he got Evil's instead. And then another time when I think either Dick Togo or Evil were on the turnbuckle, like on the ring, trying to distract the ref. And I think Oiwa and Fujita pulled him down. So in the end, Zack got the win. And I guess you could say Zack got the win with the help of the Young Lions. So we all know that at Wrestle Kingdom is going to be a fatal 4-way for the IWGP Junior Championship. So Taiji Ishimori, the champion, will have to face Master Wato, El Desperado and Hiromu. But what are they going to do for tag matches? Well, the day before the show, they had a press conference and they had to pick teams because they were going to be fighting against each other in groups of 2. And we ended up having the most bizarre combinations of Master Wato teaming with El Desperado and Hiromu teaming with Ishimori. Legit, the only person who was excited about this was was Hiromu, who actually wanted to team with Ishimori from the start. I don't know why. I mean, it was a bonus that Wato even turned up because he was like at the press conference, I'm not having this. But I think it might be one of my favourite matches of the night, which considering the calibre of the next matches, like, is saying a lot. As expected coming out, they all came out separately. Hiromu really seemed to want to get this tag team thing sorted. He waited out for Ishimori just like LIJ normally do. However, things didn't go really to plan. So El Desperado refused to be tagged in by Wato. They started fighting. Ishimori refused to be tagged in by Hiromu. At one point, when Despy finally got in, he managed to tag him by slapping Wato across the face. I think out of the 2 teams, Ishimori and Hiromu probably weren't the best, but it was just, I can't tell you like what happened exactly because it was so chaotic, but here are some top moments. they all started fighting outside the ring with each other. At one point, Hiromu forgot the point of the match and pinned Ishimori to try and get the count when the ref was like, "It's not how it works," because it doesn't. And Wato and Despi had their own little fight in the corner. They did some tag team offense actually, which actually nearly led to the win. Wato refused to take Hiromu out of a submission to save his partner. Ishimori and Hiromu did tandem offense, but in the end that backfired because I think Ishimori then kicked Hiromu, which allowed Wato to pin Hiromu for the win. Does that sound chaotic to you? Because that's exactly what happened. It was truly magnificent, and I promise you, if there is one match that you will see this entire year in New Japan, watch that, because it's something new and it's something fresh, and I really like it. I don't know whether they'll do it again, but if it was just a one-off, I happily watched that live and loved every single minute of it. Right, and we then had a bizarre tag match, two more like traditional ones. So this is leading up for Wrestle Kingdom, the match between Kazuchika Okada and Jay White for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. We had Okada and Tama teaming. I still can't get over saying that. And Kenta and Jay. Again, a nice match. Not really amazing, spectacular wrestling, because it's just a tag match that was a nice breakup between the title and special matches and then the main events. Really nice interactions between all of them. Jay and Kenta cocky as ever. Tama and Okada as popular as ever. I love how Tama is really cementing himself as a singles wrestler while Tangaloa is injured, and really getting the crowd behind him. Like, similarly with Hikuleo in the earlier matches, who'd have thought that the Tongan brothers would be probably some of the most popular wrestlers in New Japan? In the end, surprisingly, Tama pinned Kenta. I mean, it would have been one of those anyway, but I assumed that maybe Okada or Jay would have pinned either Kenta or Tama. I'm really excited for Okada versus Jay. They'll probably have a lot more warm-up matches. But yeah, that was only a short little match. Really nice to break up. 4 of the best wrestlers in the world. What else can you ask for? We then had the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team match. Lo and behold, FTR came to Japan, so they surprised everyone. And obviously, considering they didn't get pinned when it came to the decision, the Empire's Okan and Jeff Cobb were the perfect challengers. What can I say about this match? So it wasn't the caliber of FTR versus Aussie Open that we saw at Royal Quest, because that was probably one of the best tag matches I've ever seen. But it was up there. Like, it was very different because Aussie Open and the Empire I'm saying this, they're in the same faction, but they're two very different teams. Okan and Cobb are a lot more traditional and have had a lot more traditional careers compared to Aussie Open, who have obviously thrived here in the UK. Not to say it was a bad match by any means, it was phenomenal. You have 4 very big guys, very diverse stars. So similarly, like I always say this about Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb is a strong man, but he can do flips. Similarly with Dash, so athletic. Like, I think he did like some sort of Hurricane Rana at the start. And then you've got the heavyweights, so you've got Dax and Okan. Again, there's also quite a big experience difference between all of them. They've all had very different experiences in different places. FTR and Cobb have been in a lot more companies, whereas Okan is born and bred New Japan, really. Amazing interactions between all of them. There was a moment for everyone to shine. And because of this, it meant that you legit didn't know who was going to win. But in the end, it was a win for the FTR. So, okay, so my views on this. I love the FTR. I've seen them wrestle. However, due to their contracts, I am unsure whether they will be in World Tag League. And I was annoyed, obviously, when Anderson wasn't in the G1 because of champions and stuff. But especially when it comes to tag teams, I find it impossible for you to be the tag champion and not be in World Tag League, because basically, like, what's the point? But it's giving, like I said, with the junior titles, it's giving the heavyweight titles more consistency, because I now think that this is the second successful defense for FTR, and you know what, they've defended it more than Anderson, so that's all I can say. And you know what, if that wasn't a bloody good enough set of matches, they just had to end it and go, oh, by the way, here's Naito versus Ospreay for the United States Championship, and probably one of the best matches of the year. Going into this, Ospreay hasn't been on the tour. He's had a nice break, well-deserved break. And Naito's been like shooting his mouth off. going into it, you could tell there was like a sense of urgency. In the first 2 minutes, there was more offense than like you could probably see like the first 5 of another match. They were running across the ring, like flying, like ducking, and it all ended in like both of them rolling and doing, the LIJ thing that like he like leans down and he does the pose. I'm not gonna do it, but you know what I mean. And this fast pace didn't continue. It showed itself. But what I love about Naito and Ospreay is you have a perception with them. Naito is an absolute nutter. He does everything high flying, athletic. Similarly with Ospreay, who obviously started as a junior. However, this match had so many light and shade moments. So one example, I know I'm not going like in an order thing because like so much happened, but at one point I think there was a reverse Frankenstein off the top rope from Naito when when Ospreay tried to do one of his moves. And then straight from that move, Naito transitioned into a submission. It proves that like neither of the wrestlers are in one bubble. They are so diverse. And I think it got to like the 15-minute mark, and at one point they'd both flown outside and they were both on the floor. And you thought, all right, okay, so it's 15 minutes, they've done a lot of action, they're gonna calm it down. No. It almost seemed like they got a new sense of adrenaline from that moment. They were flying, they were hitting chops, like, it was immense. And obviously the final few minutes, like, watch it, it's amazing. You could see that towards the 30-minute mark, the urgency started to amp up a bit. They realised, right, I've worn the other person out, so it's time to try these finishers. And Naito did. So did Will. There was Oz cutters galore, which I thought was going to kill Naito. And Naito tried Destino. I think he did one and then kicked out. And then he had 2 modified versions of Destino, which Ospreay literally just managed to roll up. In the end, like, wow, it's phenomenal. Like, Will hit Naito with the hidden blade and got Stormbreaker for the win. But it was just the flow of the match. Sometimes matches that go for like 30 minutes can sometimes seem clunky, quite methodical in terms of like in a bad way. But this just seemed effortless. It didn't seem like 30 minutes, I can tell you that. And as much as I love Naito, and I feel like I say this in every, as much as I love this person, again, it was the right decision to keep the title on Ospreay. So that was really nice. Ospreay made little comments. All of the Empire, except Okan and Cobb, came out in very nice suits. I mean, yeah, Aussie Open looked great in them. And then, just as Ospreay was ready to go, the lights went black. Shota Umino has officially returned from his excursion. I can't remember the moniker he goes by. I don't think it's the Shooter anymore. But he's Shota Umino, which makes me so excited. He came back and basically has now challenged Ospreay for the title because Ospreay said, are there any takers for the historic X-Over show with Stardom later in the month? So we had that. No one came out. He even challenged me from like AEW and stuff. But just as Ospreay was ready to leave, that's when Shota came and beat him up. And I couldn't be happy. It was the perfect way to end it. And this show perfectly portrays everything I love about New Japan. They sort of use their old veteran talent well. So like Tanahashi, Yano, Okada, people who have been here for quite a long time, the veterans. But they also really push the new talent. You had Narita beating Sanada, I forgot for a second. You've got Wato coming up in the Wrestle Kingdom show. You have Shota Umino coming back and challenging for the US title. Similarly with Okan, who is now challenging for titles. And such a strong member of the Empire. It was an amazing show. I feel like at the start of the year, pandemic-wise, people were a bit iffy about New Japan. But they are constantly producing amazing show after amazing show. And this was no exception. There was some amazing stuff going on. And hopefully, if you watched it, you enjoyed it as much as me. So you gotta let me know what you thought. As always, let me know in the comments or on social media at wrestling_chat what you thought. We are literally nearly at Wrestle Kingdom, like 2 months away, nearly to the day. So tell me what matches you enjoyed, who stood out, and what do you want to see coming like next in the historic X-Over show, World Tag League, Super Junior Tag League, and of course Wrestle Kingdom. Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like, share it with your friends, because I always say this time of year is the most exciting. There is so much going on, and make sure to hit that subscribe button because videos will be coming and you want to be the first people to see it. So I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you very soon. Bye!